it's going to snow, it's going to get cold, and that means you're probably going to have some problems with your car if it's not maintained properly. And that's why Joe, the car guy, is with us right now and going to get you some advice of how to make sure when you turn the key, your car fires up.
That's right. Thank you, Joe, for joining us this morning. Thankfully, the roadways are looking pretty decent so far, but that definitely can change quickly. Right off the top, can you let us know what your emergency line is in case people do have issues?
Yep. Our telephone number, if you need to get a hold of us today, 515, of course, 309-1911. That'll actually go to our roadside assistance, and that's us that you're going to be talking to.
So it's 309-1911.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
309-1911.
So before you even head out the door, put that in your phone so it's ready to go in case, you know, we never want to think that way, but in case something happens, which it always can, and if it's snowing out, it just makes it that much more
and it sounds like most of it's going to hit during our regular business hours, so you're also welcome to call our shop at the same
It'll
time.
pile up really quickly this morning, and it'll stop for a while this afternoon, kick in again this evening.
Yep. So you can call the shop as well, and we're happy to dispatch you from there also.
wonderful.
Right. So what are we talking about here this morning?
Today we're going to talk about battery survival, as far as, you know, how to make sure that you're avoiding your car going out and then getting the dreaded click.
Right.
A couple of weeks ago when we were in that really, really cold spell, we'd ran over 500 calls for AAA that week, which is about 100 calls a day with 5 guys running and running and running. Wow. And a lot of that can be prevented as far as battery failure goes. The average battery life in Des Moines, or in Iowa in general, is about 4 years and 2 months. That means that some of them are going to make it 6 years, some of them are going to make it 2 years. You know, so the people that say, well, I just had that replaced a couple years ago, yeah, you did, but there's going to be some failures in that time
We
frame.
had one that was 3 years old that totally failed on us when it was that cold.
Yeah.
And we were down by the airport, and it started up to go to the airport fine. At the airport, went to go start it, dead.
I think that's the biggest frustration is there's not really a warning.
Yeah, and that's what, you know, I relate it to your bathroom light or a light in your house. You can go in there one time, it works, and the time you go in there and you flip the light on and it doesn't work, you're mad because it's an inconvenience.
Right.
And, you know, that's the same thing with your vehicle. You could have it tested 2 months ago, it sat for a week during, you know, subarctic temperatures, and then go out and click.
Kills it.
You know, and that's frustrating. A simple test, and they really are a simple test, usually can prevent that from happening to some degree. I mean, a bad battery can pop up out of nowhere, but generally we'll see it on our graph where it'll start to fade. You know, you'll start losing cold cranking amps, you'll start losing state of health, so it'd be similar to having a test run on your body. You know, it's like, hey, we see something coming, we need to take care of that now before it becomes a larger problem.
And how often would you need to do something like that?
We recommend it at every oil change service, because then that's every 3 months. So again, something can happen easily in that 3-month window, but it's better than it never happening and one day you go out and it's just, well, I wish I could have prevented that.
Is that normally included, or is that something you have to specifically ask for?
Most shops will include it. Just a simple battery test. You know, if you have a starting and charging issue with the vehicle, they may charge a testing fee for it, but just to hook up and say, here's the state of health of your battery, it's usually included in the oil change process.
That's something to keep in mind. So next time you have your oil change, just looking on the information that you receive, see whether or not it's on there.
Yeah, or ask them if they provide it when you're making the appointment, and you know, if they don't, is there a charge, that type of thing, so you know what you're looking at when you go into it. With all the electronics that these cars have now, we've had cars that will start fine but might have an airbag light on the dash. Well, if the battery's starting to fade, it can actually cause those lamps to come on the dash because of voltage not getting to the computer correctly.
Okay.
So I mean, we've fixed airbag lights with batteries because it was a voltage issue in the computer.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's, I wouldn't say rare. I mean, it's not super common, but you know, it does happen. So that's definitely something to look at with that. The other thing is when you're shopping for a battery, the biggest thing is there's different qualities of battery, just like anything else. You can go to, you know, Cruddy Auto Parts and buy one for $55 that has no warranty on it. It'll probably start your car for a while and be fine. Or you can get one that is going to have, what you want to look at is there's cold cranking amps. That's the ability to go out and start your vehicle. And then there's reserve capacity in the battery, which is what it can do when it's cold outside, basically, or what it can do in the extreme heat. Those numbers should at least match what came from the factory. And a lot of times those cheaper batteries don't. It's going to be a lesser rated battery. It's going to have less reserve capacity, so it'll work when the weather's fine.
Now, how do you find out those numbers?
Those numbers, they're actually printed on the top of every battery, like where the sticker is for whatever brand of battery it may be. It'll tell you what the cold cranking amps are.
I mean, for your particular vehicle, you said that make sure you try to match it to the one that came with
Yeah,
the vehicle. Where can you find the information of what kind of power that you need
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
your vehicle?
I believe that you can find that in the owner's manual. It should be in there. The other thing is anybody that's selling you the battery should be able to look that up and say, this is the battery, this is the cold cranking amps. We've got a book. If you're picking up a battery from like a big box store, there's usually a book there that'll tell you, hey, this is your cold cranking amps. This is your
because
reserve
usually you'll go
capacity.
into a place to get a battery for your car and say, I need one about this big and about this wide. You
Yeah,
tell them what kind of
exactly.
vehicle you have, how old it is, things like that.
Yep, exactly. And those are the biggest things. The other thing is the warranty period that a battery carries, how long somebody will actually warranty it. That's kind of a tell on the quality of their battery. If they're willing to stand behind it for 3 years and give you a free replacement on it, chances are they think that's a pretty good battery. If it's a 12-month free replacement battery, they're saying, nah, you'll be good for a year.
Kind of a warning sign.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what
So-
should someone expect to pay for a quality battery?
A quality
Not a cheapo,
battery,
not a
yeah.
cheapo.
If you're avoiding, I mean, if you want a quality battery that's going to provide a good warranty with your vehicle, you're probably going to spend somewhere between $128 to $150, depending on your vehicle. You know, if you have a European model vehicle, they're going to be slightly higher because of what that car takes.
And they always charge more for a
Exactly.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. It can almost always be prevented is the biggest thing, just having somebody, check your battery regularly. The other thing is kind of what we were talking about with the battery. You drive it down to the airport and it works fine. You go back out. We kind of relate it to the heart. You may climb Mount Everest in a week and everything be perfectly fine. Next week you have a heart attack sitting on your couch.
Yeah, exactly.
There's things that you just can't predict on them.
All right, what if somebody wants to get their battery tested? You hear you talking right now, so you know something that's not a bad idea. Can I come over and have you check mine?
Yeah, absolutely. What we've got going on this week is stop in for a free battery test. There's no strings attached. It's just a free battery test, period. You don't have to buy anything. Come in, tell me you want a free battery test, and you'll get one.
And about how long would that take?
Usually about 10 to 15 minutes at the
Okay.
most.
Because
So-
you put a load on it too, don't you?
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Which
We'll pull
it determines how strong the battery is.
Yeah, we'll pull the car in the shop. We'll put a load on it, which, like you said, that a load would be the equivalent of like your headlights on, your blower motor running on full blast, your radio going, making sure that the battery can handle all that.
Wonderful. And just remind people again, if they happen to turn that, crank and it doesn't go.
Yep, if it doesn't go, 309-1911.
All right.
There you go.
Thank you,
Perfect.
Joe.
Thank you, Joe, the car guy.
You bet.
Appreciate it.